Hello folks, welcome to this series of AWS services, and today we are going to talk about CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is a fundamental monitoring web service provided by AWS. Its chief task is to monitor other AWS resources which you have created in your AWS account. It could be an EC2 instance, it could be something like auto scaling, it could be your even ECS, load balancer, any of these other services can be tracked by CloudWatch. So while looking at our EC2 instance, we had seen that various metrics like CPU utilization, the disk read write, the network load, we saw good graphs and chart under all those services. Now that monitoring part is basically done by CloudWatch. So let's directly go to the CloudWatch dashboard. You can find it under the management tool. Click on this. Now basically CloudWatch is more than just tracking your AWS resources. When you go to the dashboard, here you can see alarms, events, logs, and metrics. So if you go to your region where you have not created any resource, you will find a clean dashboard. And you can see from here that what are the various components of CloudWatch are. So you can create CloudWatch alarms, you can create CloudWatch event rules, you can create CloudWatch logs, and you can use CloudWatch metrics to monitor your AWS resources. Now let's start with CloudWatch metrics. What exactly is CloudWatch metrics? CloudWatch metrics is basically the attribute based on which you are monitoring a particular AWS resource or AWS service. So for example, here in my North Virginia region, I have very minimal resource, and here you can see that you currently have 14 CloudWatch metrics available. Now if I click on this, I'll be able to see what these metrics are. Now here you can see that we have got 2 metrics in S3 and 12 metrics in SWF. SWF basically is a simple workflow web service provided by AWS. So I must have created only these 2 resources in this region, and that is why I'm getting only 14 metrics. Now let's change the region and go to the Mumbai region where I have created multiple resources. And here you go. If I now go to metrics, I can see here that it is actually tracking 561 metrics. These 561 metrics are the various attributes which are being tracked by CloudWatch across multiple services. So it is tracking DMS, which is data migration service. It is tracking elastic block storage. It is tracking EC2, S3, Redshift, RDS, SNS, and so on. You can see how many metrics it is tracking for each service, and you can go ahead and see that particular service and these metrics. So if I go to now my normal EC2, again you can see that it has been divided based on the auto scaling group and based on per instance metrics. I can further go and drill down to the per instance metrics, and here I can see that these are the various metrics which are being tracked by CloudWatch. So CPU surplus credit balance, disk write bytes, network out. So all these various metrics can basically be plotted on a graph. CloudWatch does that for you. So you can see here, this is my network out bytes. I can plot multiple metrics on the same graph. So it's very much customizable. You can see here, now it is also tracking network packets in and network out, and basically also plotting it on the graph. You can see what are the metrics which has been plotted on the graph. You can change the granularity from here. You can make it 1 hour, 3 hour, 1 week even, and you can customize it. So basically the number of metrics which are traced by CloudWatch, it will depend on how many services, how many resources you have created in your own account. But that's just one part of the story. Now based on these metrics, you can create a CloudWatch alarm. So you can go here under the alarms, and you can see I have created multiple alarms. Alarms in CloudWatch can be in 3 states. It could be in OK, it could be in an alarm state, or it could be in a state where it cannot be certain because sufficient data is not available. So for example here, this is an alarm I created for my S3 bucket. And here I have given the condition that if the bucket size goes beyond 5600 bytes within a day, then set the alarm. which is a very low size. So it basically has triggered the alarm, and you can see it here. You can go into the history of it and you can see the details of it. Now rest of my alarms that I created, they are basically have insufficient data. Basically I created an auto scaling group alarm. So based on these alarms, we were doing auto scaling. If you remember, while creating the auto scaling policies, we use the alarm. That alarm belongs to CloudWatch only. Now since I deleted my auto scaling group, so it doesn't get the sufficient data so that it can decide whether it's in OK state or in alarm state. That is why it is in a state of insufficient data. So alarms are very useful. You can create an alarm, and to trigger the alarm you can use various metrics. So based on these metrics you can assign a particular threshold, and whenever the threshold will be breached, the alarm would be triggered and you might get a notification about the alarm breach. So for example, one of the very simple alarm is that whenever your CPU utilization goes beyond a certain limit, you want to get alarmed. So here you can see I can select this CPU utilization on this particular instance, and I can select what is the name of what would be the name of the alarm and what would be the definition of it. So if it suppose goes beyond 90%, then I want to trigger the alarm. So I just need to give the name. So whenever this breaches more than 90% for a period of 5 minutes, then I want to get alarm. So I can create such alarms. Of course, once an alarm is triggered, you want to get some notification. So you can select here notification, and as we have covered simple notification services, so there the notification can be sent to a particular SMS topic, and whatever emails would be registered with the topic, whatever would be the subscriber, they will get a notification that an alarm has been triggered. So here you see the list of emails which are subscriber to this particular topic. Now I can create the alarm. So here you go, my alarm has been created. But since right now my instance is in stopped state, so it is not getting enough data. Now other than alarms and metrics, you also have got events. So basically, suppose you've got an AWS resource and the state of that resource is changing, then you can respond to such state changes. And that you do by using CloudWatch Events. So you can create a rule and then you can define the event pattern. For example, I can select for the sake of simplicity, I'll select S3. So whenever a bucket level operation happens, and we can select a specific operation. So whenever say a create bucket or a delete bucket happens, I want to take some action. So I can create an event pattern which is create bucket or delete bucket on S3. Whenever this happens, I want to send this event to a particular target. So my target could be a simple SNS topic where I can send notification, or it could be something like Lambda function. So every time some create bucket or delete bucket happens, I want to process something. So that logic can be written in a Lambda function, and the Lambda function can be invoked by using this rule. Or you can also put a message in the SQS queue, or you can run some system manager commands. So basically, all these can be your targets. Based on these event patterns, you can send a notification or trigger any of these other services. So if I'm invoking a Lambda function on this particular event, I need to just select the Lambda function, and that's all. I can create the rule. Whatever I need to do, I will be writing that within my Lambda function. So basically, the CloudWatch rule is very generic. There are so many event sources. All these are various event sources, and there are so many event targets. So based on any of the state change or any of the event that happens on the event source, you can select the target and you can design and configure that what kind of action would be taken in case of that event. So other than this, one of the major use of CloudWatch is for generating CloudWatch logs. So whatever services CloudWatch monitors, it can create log for that. So suppose you have created an EC2 instance and now you have to monitor that EC2 instance, then you will need a log agent. You have to install it on EC2 instance, And using CloudWatch log, then you'll be able to generate the logs and you can see that what is happening inside the EC2 instance. So CloudWatch logs are a very good way to monitor your resources. You can save these logs into S3. CloudWatch can work closely with the CloudTrail, which basically monitors API level activity. It works with various services like IAM. It can monitor EC2 instances. It can monitor various other associated services like auto-scaling, like load balancers. So in essence, CloudWatch is one of the fundamental monitoring web service. Monitoring cannot be complete. In fact, monitoring cannot be even started without using CloudWatch tool. So that's all we have in this video. If you got any query, if you got any comments, please put it in the discussion box and we'll get back to you. So see you soon in the next video. Thank you for watching.